Well, hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Tony, and the channel is Tony Talks Cards. And as always, we are talking cards today. This video is a late one. I meant to do this, I had the idea to do this a week or two ago. It's a VR for Sammy Thunder for his 3,000 subscriber milestone being hit. Congrats again on that. I should have realized, but being new to YouTube, I didn't realize some of these things that when guys ask for VR, it makes total sense. You want to put a deadline on it if you're going to do a giveaway, a raffle, something like that. And didn't realize the deadline on that was last week, but had the idea for it. And hopefully it's still okay to put this out. If you give it a watch, again, congrats, Sammy, on this. You were asking for a VR showing some oddball cards. And for me, I'm mostly a tops, basic Fleer, Donruss, score, all those things kind of guy. But I happened to pull out a couple things from the old binders and drawers and thought these would fit well with your oddball card request. I don't have a shirt from Reindeer Studios yet. I did look a couple days ago and meant to buy one. Will be buying one probably for upcoming shows. I'm going to one this weekend here in Arizona. Won't be having it for that, but probably for the National in July and August in Chicago. So but again, focusing just on the oddball or off-brand cards for this video. So these are football cards. These were issued in 1986 by a well-known retail consumer company. As kids, a lot of us I'm seeing who make videos were kids of a certain similar age group in the 80s would have wanted to go to this store and buy something, probably more than our parents wanted to take us there. And I bought these about 10 years ago. I didn't realize they had these in the moment when I was that young going to this place, but it's McDonald's. And in 1986, McDonald's issued 30 card sets. And I'm doing this off of, some research on Google and things like that. In 1986, they issued 30 card team sets of various players in cities that didn't have an NFL team. So I grew up in Tucson, Arizona, which is about an hour and a half, 2 hours south of Phoenix, Scottsdale in Arizona. And we didn't have the Cardinals yet. The Cardinals, of course, didn't came to Phoenix, not Tucson, but we didn't have a football team in '86. So I'm guessing these were issued or offered in Tucson. But as a kid, I guess I was more focused on Happy Meals. I guess than maybe these were offered to adults. I'm not quite sure, but glad to have them. Want to show these vintage oddball football cards up here on this video and some other baseball cards I'll show off at the very end too. So stay tuned for that. But these were issued, like I said, in sets of 30. They were issued, I guess, during weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the NFL season. And each week they were issued with different color schemes. So, for example, there were blue, black, green, and then kind of a gold orange issue. And I'll show them off right now. I have the full set of the green issue. So they look like this. These are what they look like. This is a full 30 team set of and the green again is this scratch. I think it's the scratch up area down here. These cards, all of all-star players, well-known players in pro football at the time, and we'll walk through those one by one. The back of the cards, just FYI, have height, weight, college, career milestones, highlights, things like that. And again, knew I had these, but forgot about them. And then, hey, a VR for oddball cards came up, and we'll show them. So here, without further ado, you see Marcus Allen right here. Show that one off. You've got, I can't read backwards. You've got Joey Browner with the Vikings. I think that's Deron Cherry. Yep. You've got Roger Craig, the 49ers. You've got Kenny Easley, the Seahawks. Dan Fouts, easy to recognize there. You've got Mark Gastineau. You've got, who's that backwards? Chris Hinton. I'll be good at this by the time it's all done. You've got Leroy Irvin. I'll move this here. You've got Joe Jacoby. You've got EJ Jr. with the Cardinals, who came to Arizona a couple years after this. Howie Long with the Raiders. You've got Kevin Mack. Knew that one from collecting football cards back in the day. You've got, who was that? Dan Marino. Yep. Number looks weird going backwards. Here's Jim McMahon. And again, one thing I noticed about this too, these came out in '86. So a lot of cards, again, if they come out in say '86, they're showing pictures from the '85 season. just the way that the calendar worked back, at least in the 80s when I was collecting football cards. So 86, these came out. I'm going to show the 85 season, and just seeing if you kind of catch these things, just the shine in the helmet, the white jersey, just the kind of way the picture looks. Probably taken during Super Bowl 20 in New Orleans against the Patriots. So really cool to see that. And again, Jim McMahon was one of those guys I collected a lot of. My favorite quarterback back in the day, again, was the quarterback during Super Bowl 20. And so cool to see him on that All-Star set. You got, I think, Art Monk. You've got Joe Montana. You've got Joe Morris. Mike Munchak, I think that is. Yep. You've got Anthony Munoz, liked him because his name was Tony. Like me, although it was Anthony, my name's only Tony, but don't see too many Tonys, at least when I was growing up, I didn't. So having that is cool. You've got Ozzie Newsome. Sorry. And again, can't mistake this one, even if it's backward to me looking at StreamYard here, Walter Payton. And again, seeing that shiny, rim on the helmet, the white jerseys, playing the Superdome in New Orleans, likely was Super Bowl 20 when this was taken. So cool connection there with 86, the 85 Bears, and McDonald's, which again, as a kid, all about the Happy Meals, the Transformer-like toys that came with a lot of them back in the day. Still have a lot of those actually up in my garage storage units. So maybe get those out at one point for this channel or somewhere else, but nothing sports related, I guess, just more consumer retail and kind of fond memories of being kids. So you've got Walter Payton, you've got Mike Quick, you've got Gerald Riggs, you've got Phil Simms, who won the Super Bowl the next year, Super Bowl 21 against the Broncos. You've got Lawrence Taylor, number 56. And almost rounding out here, you've got Mike Webster during one of his last years with the Steelers. And last but not least is Randy White. These are all ordered off in alphabetical order too. So it went from A to Z there. So Randy White finishes up with a W last name in this 30-card McDonald's set. So that was my 30-card set. Oddball football cards. I guess they only would have gotten them. You only would have gotten them, I guess, the first 4 weeks of the year in 1986. So kind of interesting, kind of odd. Probably drove a lot of Big Mac and quarter pounder sales back in the day, but glad to have these in the collection. But on top of that, I did have one more card I found. Not sure why it's by itself, but this is a second Walter Payton card. This is the gold orange variety. Again, that was issued during one of the other weeks in 86. Again, same shot from likely Super Bowl 20, but again, good to have a second Walter card as well. And these are definitely larger issues. They're larger than normal football cards and baseball cards. So I think the bottom tab was meant to be taken off, maybe for a game of some sort. I didn't read too much on the back of what it says, but maybe it's a coupon also for free food. So I should have done that research ahead of time. But in these cases, these were not used or redeemed for Big Macs or Happy Meals or things like that. But cool to have something from the 86 season with the Bears, the year they won the Super Bowl in 86 for the 85 season. So that's my VR for Sammy Thunder. Hopefully you appreciate, hopefully that is good and makes the cut. I know it's late, but appreciate always the chances to do VRs and bring out new things from my collection that I forgot I had or didn't know I had or I had and just hadn't looked at for a while and enjoyed for a while. So it's what kind of this is all about. It's you collect cards, you buy them when you get them in the mail, you look at them, you put them in a sleeve or a holder of some sort, put them in a binder and some pages, put them on on the wall or in the shelf, but then look at them sometimes. We buy the cards because they bring back memory, joy, favorite player, favorite team, and just seeing the card, the image like a photograph can bring back memories. So it's a good chance to get out, in this case, oddball cards that I hadn't thought about in a while and think about where these were issued and when they came out. But last but not least, I want to make sure and give a second thank you to Sammy. He had a video. He does a lot of videos. It's probably been three weeks ago, maybe. A video about cards he was moving on from and selling. And I saw the video. There were 4 cards I was curious about. And he and I worked out a deal where he sold me some cards for my burgeoning baseball Hall of Fame collection. So I want to show those off here and say thank you again, Sammy, for the deal. They came in solid, wrapped great, no damage. I mean, tight, sealed, shipped, perfect like I would have wanted them. So would expect nothing else. but thank you again for that. So these 4 cards, again, just to kind of wrap up the video here, we'll go in order by oldest of the year. The first one here is a 51 Bowman Billy Southworth. So I'm trying to learn more about vintage baseball. I knew the bigger names, the Mantle, the Mays, the Aarons, but collecting, guys that aren't in that top tier and in the Hall of Fame for different reasons, maybe, or had a interesting careers or really successful maybe before World War II, and just didn't know about him and read about him too much. So back of his card, again, it's number 207 in the 51 series. You can see right there. Sorry for the glare there. But a couple things about the back. Let's see, he played ball since 1912. Career lasted through 1936. Has managed in the majors and minors since 1928, so about 23 years at this point. Missing only a couple years. Built up a great reputation while managing the Cardinals. They were in 7th place in June 1940 when Billy took over. They finished 3rd for that year, 2nd in 41, and 1st place in 42, 43, and 44. Billy moved on to the Boston Braves in 46 and guided them to the pennant in 1948. So again, a lot of this stuff I wouldn't have known. It kind of predated stuff I would have cared to research and look at when I was, 10, 12 years old. But cool to have this card here and so clearly seeing that Braves logo and tomahawk and name on the front there. So that was cool. Thank you, Sammy, again for that. The next card, going from oldest to newest, is a 1967 Topps, showing the 66 NL League ERA leaders with Sandy Koufax, you've got Mike Cuellar, and then Juan Marichal. So 1966, I believe, was officially Koufax's last year. And in that year, I think he won the Triple Crown. Was it ERA, strikeouts, and wins? And so he has 3 different leader cards, I believe, in 67 Topps. And so while, earlier Koufax cards may be out of my price range and reach right now, I think it'd be cool to get all 3 of these leader cards in the 67 set to memorialize his great 66 year. And kind of cool on the back, it has all of the kind of next guys up in line, plus Koufax and others at the top here. So I thought that was cool as well. Koufax with a 1.73 ERA in 1966. Next one up is a 1971 Burt Blyleven. This is his rookie card. I've said this before if you watched other videos, I love the black borders. It just is kind of counter. It just accentuates some of the real color like yellows and reds and blues and greens. They're hard to, of course, keep in good condition with the chipping and the borders, and they show real easily when something's not perfect, unlike white borders. But again, this is out of my traditional wheelhouse, but I'm liking the 71s a lot more. There's a ton of them, but I'm leaning towards a couple new projects that involve this year that I'll probably talk more about in a future video. But again, Burt Blyleven played into the 90s, I want to say. When I collected cards in the 80s and 90s, he was in those top sets, I feel like in 91, 92, maybe 93, maybe 92 was his last year, I forget, but I remember seeing him and all the stats, and those cards were just, the font was so tiny to figure out how to put all of, for example, his stats, Nolan Ryan's stats in the back of all those Topps cards. So he was there, but he was here first in 1971, showing with the Twins right there. So happy to get that. Thank you again, Sammy, for that. And last but definitely not least, I have a thing for last playing days cards too of Hall of Famers. I love seeing all the stats on the back and just the length and how small the font had to be to squeeze all these things in. And this guy is no different. So 1976, Hank Aaron with the Brewers. Nothing more can be said about him nothing more I can say probably is going to add to what's been said already. But again, for me, it's a Hall of Famer. Its last card usually is one of the most affordable ones, and not doing a run, but love to have Hall of Famers that I can afford. And the last one usually is that for many people. And so on the back of this one, may be hard to see because of the plastic. But again, tiny font, lots of stats, lots of tiny numbers there. It doesn't quite go to his final home run tally, I think, because he played in 76. It just shows back to 75. But again, appreciated the price and the deal that Sammy gave me on this. Won't grade them. I'll keep them here in plastic and storage units like this. Just like looking at them, they're not worth grading, and I don't want to pay right now the $15 or $20 fee to get them graded. good to look at them right here and just keep them as they are kind of, and they may be in a binder at some point, plastic pages, who knows what else, but um, having the last card's pretty cool of Hank Aaron. So thank you again, Sammy, for that. So that does it. That's my VR for Sammy Thunder's 3,000 subscribers. Hopefully you enjoy the mid 80s football McDonald's issues, plus those last four pickups I did on a deal with him a few weeks ago. So thanks again for watching the channel. I say it all the time. I don't want to sound like I'm oversaying it, but thank you again for watching. Appreciate all the comments, the likes, the subscribes, the sharing even of my last video with Jay, Average Vintage Collector. I had a ton of fun with Jay doing my second video interview. A ton of fun with Joe, Redneck Collector, as well. A few weeks before that, doing an interview with him about his collection, his interests. So I'm liking that. It takes a lot of time to think about the questions and get time on the calendar for all of us. But thanks, Jay, again for that. Thanks, Joe, also for kicking me off with that first interview. And thank you for all those who've commented, who've liked, who've watched it all the way through all hour, I think it was. I'll do some more in the future too. And so thanks again for the encouragement. So with that, I'll sign off and catch you the next time on the next video. All right, take care, everybody. Bye.